Beneath the dust of time and in every hidden corner of the modern world, countless mysteries still remain unsolved. From forgotten ancient civilizations and chilling legends to creatures once thought extinct that have suddenly reappeared, each story reveals a glimpse of a mysterious world waiting for us to explore. So fasten your seatbelt as we dive into today's mystery. But first, you will have incredible luck if you like, and subscribe before this video ends. The Aztec Sacrificial Altar. Amid the sacred and mysterious realm of Aztec civilization, a particular artifact has drawn the gaze of anyone who has ever set foot inside the National Museum of Anthropology in Mexico. This is the Jaguar statue, meticulously carved from a massive block of volcanic stone. Across the centuries, this jaguar figure has not only stood as a work of art, but also as vivid testimony to the mystical rituals once held at the ancient Aztec temples. If you place yourself in the past, you can imagine the solemn and haunting ceremonies conducted in the stone temples of the Aztec people, where gods and humans were always bound together through sacrificial rites. Right at the center of the jaguar statue is a large bowl, once used to hold the still warm heart freshly taken from the chest of those who had been sacrificed. According to Mesoamerican beliefs, the heart was not only a symbol of life, but also the seat of the soul, food that the gods required in order to sustain the balance of the universe. Altars like this appeared throughout the temples, often taking the form of a jaguar or an eagle, two creatures celebrated in Aztec culture for their strength and unyielding spirit. The jaguar, with its commanding presence and exceptional hunting instincts, embodied supreme power. In the consciousness of the Aztec people, it was associated with the forces of darkness and the ability to move between the human world and the realm of the gods. The choice to represent sacrificial altars in the image of the jaguar only underscored the belief that only what was strongest and most noble was worthy of being offered to the divine. Today, as one stands before this statue in the quiet of the museum, viewers cannot help but sense not only the skill of ancient artisans, but also imagine the pounding of ritual drums, the echo of prayers, and the intense tension of sacrificial ceremonies that once unfolded on ancient Mexican soil. Behind the statue's majestic and powerful beauty, the jaguar altar stands as a symbol of a civilization that placed absolute faith in the connection between gods and humans, where life and death were always interwoven in the most sacred rituals. Bringing the mammoth back. The idea of bringing ancient creatures back to life once only appeared in science fiction films, but today, thanks to the rapid advances of modern science, that story is gradually becoming reality. It all began with a bold experiment in 2003, when scientists succeeded in reviving the Pyrenean ibex, a species that had vanished from the Earth. They extracted DNA from the last individual of the species, then implanted it into the egg of a domestic goat from which the nucleus had been removed, thus creating the first hybrid individual in human history between past and present. Although this resurrected goat only lived for a few brief minutes due to a lung defect, the event opened a new era, the era of breaking natural limits through genetic technology. 2 decades have passed, and advances in genetics and molecular biology have pushed the dream of reviving the once mighty animals even further. At the center of this revolution is Colossal Biosciences, a company that is not only nurturing the ambition to bring back the extinct ibex, but also has a greater goal: to return the woolly mammoth to the icy northern lands, and to revive the dodo, a symbol of extinction, as well as the Tasmanian tiger, a predator that once dominated the island of Tasmania. According to Colossal's founders, these creatures, once wiped from the face of the earth, will be returned to the wild using modern gene editing techniques. They have even publicly announced a projected timeline for the birth of the first baby mammoths, which could arrive within just a few years. Nevertheless, behind each technological leap are persistent ethical questions that have no easy answers. Every time an extinct species is brought back into the world, it also means that resources, survival opportunities, and ecological balance could be disrupted. Experts question whether it is truly reasonable to use Asian or African elephants as surrogate mothers for mammoths. Some scientists even warn that Instead of solving the problem of extinction, these projects could create unpredictable consequences, from disrupting food chains to the risk of releasing new diseases into the wild. On a deeper level, this is also a question about the ethical boundaries of humanity. Do we have the right to interfere with the order of natural evolution simply to satisfy our scientific ambitions? Despite the ongoing debates, the story of reviving giant creatures continues to capture the world's attention. Behind every step forward in technology lies humanity's desire to explore and reshape the future. But it is also a reminder of our responsibility toward what has been lost. If one day herds of mammoths truly roam the snowy fields of Siberia, if dodos once again walk in the green forests of Mauritius, or if the Tasmanian tiger returns to the deep woods, then that will be the moment humanity witnesses its own power. The ancient city of Akrotiri buried beneath the volcanic ash of Santorini. Akrotiri, the jewel of the ancient Minoan civilization, was once a prosperous port city on the shores of the Aegean Sea. This place was remarkable not only for its bustling residential quarters, but also for its multi-story houses, advanced hot and cold water supply systems, broad stone-paved streets, and vibrant murals depicting daily life, rituals, and the abundance of nature. Life in Akrotiri was flourishing and developed far beyond many other regions of the world at that time, demonstrating both the creativity and the outstanding construction techniques of the Minoans. However, the fate of this city changed forever around 1600 BC, when the Thera volcano erupted violently without warning. This natural disaster not only buried Akrotiri beneath a thick layer of ash, but also brought an end to a civilization that had thrived for centuries. The entire city was entombed, its architectural wonders and artistic treasures hidden from view, causing Akrotiri to be forgotten for thousands of years afterward. It was not until modern times, when archaeologists uncovered and excavated the volcanic ash, that the mysteries of Akrotiri gradually came to light. The remaining ruins have retained their magnificent beauty, allowing the world to gain a deeper understanding of the cultural development, scientific achievements, and spiritual life of the Minoan people. Many scholars believe that this very catastrophe inspired the legend of the lost city of Atlantis, a symbol of a civilization swallowed by nature. To this day, Akrotiri continues to astonish researchers with its level of advancement and stands as one of the clearest examples of the fragility of great civilizations in the face of nature's power. This ancient city is not only the legacy of the Minoans, but also a reminder to future generations of all that once existed, only to vanish in an instant, leaving behind countless mysteries for humanity to uncover. Paleolithic bird statue in China. In the heart of Henan province, archaeologists have discovered a remarkable artifact, a small bird statue carved from blackened bone, dating back as far as 13,500 years, buried deep within the soil of an ancient refuse pit. This discovery has not only astonished the scientific community, but is also considered the oldest three-dimensional artwork ever recorded in China, opening a new window into the spiritual and creative world of prehistoric Asians. The bird statue is only as small as a finger, yet it demonstrates an extraordinary level of craftsmanship. In the hands of an anonymous Paleolithic artisan, an ordinary piece of bone was transformed into the vivid form of a living bird, with details such as the beak, wings, body, and legs all meticulously carved. What is especially notable is that the ancient creator did not simply shape the figure, but also used the technique of burning the bone to accentuate the lines, creating contrasting colors that make the statue stand out even more among the otherwise crude artifacts of the same period. The appearance of this artwork shows that in the post-Ice Age era, humans had begun to shift from merely focusing on survival to building a richer spiritual life. The act of spending time and effort to carve a bird statue reflects not only a need for decoration, but may also be linked to beliefs, rituals, or served as a symbol of hope, a longing for freedom amid a harsh, natural environment. Archaeologists have concluded that the creation of this bird statue marks an important milestone, evidence of the transformation from a purely hunter-gatherer society to one capable of artistic thought able to express emotions and aspirations through three-dimensional sculptures. This is also one of the earliest signs that prehistoric Chinese people had developed their own independent artistic traditions, without direct influence from contemporary Western cultures. This tiny but deeply meaningful bird statue, found among shards of pottery and stone tools, transports us back to a distant era, one where human imagination and creativity first took flight, beginning the long stream of art and civilization that would continue for tens of thousands of years to come. The fungus that drives flies to their death. Within the natural world exist cruel and unpredictable laws, ones that can leave humans utterly stunned when witnessed firsthand. One of the most haunting phenomena unfolds among seemingly harmless creatures, the common housefly. In the silent darkness of dense forests, or even in the backyard garden, the fungus Entomopthora muscae has developed a survival strategy that chills anyone who hears about it. Unlike any other parasite, this fungus does not simply invade the host's body. It takes over the host's entire behavior, turning the fly into an agent of death for its own kind. It all begins when an ordinary fly happens to come into contact with the minuscule spores of the fungus. In a short time, the fungal threads make their way inside, boring into the nervous system and beginning to secrete chemical compounds that act directly upon the host's brain. Under the control of this invisible parasite, the fly loses all ability to govern itself. When its body can no longer resist, it begins to climb to the highest, most exposed place it can find, an ideal location for the spores to be spread as widely as possible. But the horror does not end there. When the fly dies, its corpse becomes a grotesque love trap. The compounds secreted by the fungus do not just control the host in life, they transform the corpse into something irresistibly alluring to other healthy male flies. These males are drawn to it, so much so that they are willing to mate with the infected body, unaware that this very instinct will make them the next victims. Upon contact, the new spores quickly attach to the healthy fly's body and continue the chilling cycle of infection. Under the microscope, scientists have observed the entire process. From the moment the fungal threads pierce the fly's exoskeleton to the point where the body bursts open, releasing millions of tiny spores into the air, ready to find their next host. This deadly attraction has led many scientists to call Entomopthora muscae the sweet death of flies. The fungus does not just destroy an individual, but spreads by harnessing the very instincts of the species. This discovery reveals not only the terrifying manipulative power of nature, but also offers a new direction in research for biological pest control. Because if the chemical mechanisms can be understood, humans could protect crops without the need for toxic pesticides. Yet, behind the cold experiments in the laboratory, there remain deep questions about the thin line between life and death, and about the profound secrets of nature that perhaps humanity will never fully unravel. The Montaigne Monkeyfaced Bat. Amidst the untouched mountain forests of the Solomon Islands, there is a remarkable creature that has captivated both scientists and nature enthusiasts alike. It is the Montaigne Monkeyfaced Bat, a species that has only ever been seen once in the entire history of modern research. In 1990, on the island of Guadalcanal, scientists stumbled upon a solitary individual, and the event was quickly recognized as an exceptionally rare discovery in the world of wildlife. The Montaigne Monkeyfaced Bat belongs to the megabat group, the largest bats in the world, distinguished by their unusual appearance. From a face that closely resembles a monkey to its thick fur and wide wings, every feature sets it apart from any other bat species. Living in complete isolation on the high mountain peaks of the Solomon Islands, this species possesses a unique genetic lineage, contributing to an evolutionary story that remains largely a mystery to humans. This isolation only heightens biologists' desire to learn more about the origins and ecological role of the Montaigne Monkeyfaced Bat within its native environment. Yet, since that single sighting in 1990, the Montaigne Monkeyfaced Bat has nearly vanished from all subsequent surveys. Despite ongoing efforts by experts, there has been no further concrete evidence to confirm the species' continued existence on the island. There remains only a faint glimmer of hope, centered on the forests above 1,200 meters above sea level, where scientists believe that if it still survives, the Montaigne Monkeyfaced Bat may be hiding deep within the most remote and seldom trodden woodlands. For now, however, this remains just a hypothesis. This extraordinary bat is currently classified as critically endangered, and it may even have become extinct. All information about its habits, reproduction, and habitat remains a major question mark, leaving researchers with mysteries yet to be solved. The story of the Montaigne Monkeyfaced Bat serves as a reminder of the fragility of biodiversity and stands as proof that there are still countless wonders in nature waiting to be discovered. The cursed village of Kulara. On the arid desert plains of Rajasthan, the village of Kulara appears in a state of ruin, and silence so profound it chills the soul. Once a bustling and prosperous home to the Paliwal community, the village has become an enigmatic symbol inseparably linked to an unbreakable curse. According to a story passed down from generation to generation, on a fateful night, the entire village quietly vanished, leaving behind all their belongings, their homes, and even their unfinished dreams, all for the sake of escaping the pursuit of the cruel landlord Salim Singh. Their departure was so silent and so secretive that no one in the region knew where they went or how more than 1,000 people could disappear in a single night. Before leaving their land, the Paliwal people left behind a curse, declaring that anyone who dared to settle there would never find happiness. Through countless generations, no one has ever been able to stay long in Kulara. The ruined houses, shattered roofs, and courtyards covered in sand and dust seem to embody memories and bitterness that have never faded away. Tourists and explorers who set foot here often describe a chill creeping up their spine with every step. Some claim to have heard strange sounds rising from the empty houses. Others have sensed ghostly figures flitting behind old walls, while some feel nothing more than an inexplicable sense of unease. It seems as if the very air here is always thick with something unseen, but profoundly present in the minds of those brave enough to explore. Yet, alongside these mysterious legends, archaeologists and historians have sought to understand Kulara through a scientific lens. They discovered that the village once possessed a complex and advanced irrigation system, rare for its time, transforming the arid land into a verdant oasis. But Rajasthan's turbulent history, with its cycles of prolonged drought and the political pressures from ruthless landlords, may also have driven the Paliwal people to abandon their homeland. Still, no historical record has ever fully explained the sudden disappearance of an entire community, leaving the central question hanging over this ancient village like a persistent ghost. Today, Kulara is not just a silent ruin in the heart of the desert, but has also become an unmissable destination for enthusiasts of the supernatural and for researchers of history alike. Every corner of every house, every broken brick road seems to whisper stories without an ending, urging generations to keep searching for answers to a mystery that has lasted for centuries. In coming to Kulara, people confront not only a sorrowful past, but must also ask themselves whether something truly exists beneath the dust of time, or if it is merely the power of legend and the fear that humans themselves have painted in their minds. The wine ritual. In the heart of the mysterious Caucasus region, archaeologists have unexpectedly revealed a vivid glimpse into the spiritual and culinary life of prehistoric people. At an ancient site in the Areti Usora area, they discovered a uniquely shaped wine vessel, crafted in the form of an animal with 3 sturdy legs and a missing head. This vessel is remarkable not only for its distinctive appearance, but also for the traces left inside. Grape pollen, clear evidence that more than 5,000 years ago, the people of the Caucasus had already learned to cultivate and use grapes to make wine. Researchers have determined that this wine vessel was used for religious rituals or ancient festivals. The remnants of grape pollen inside have opened a story about ancient ceremonial customs, in which wine was not merely an everyday drink, but served as a bridge between humans and supernatural forces. The people of the Kura Araxes culture in this region once believed that wine was a sacred gift from heaven and earth, used as an offering to the gods on important occasions or in ceremonies for harvest, thanksgiving, and even significant funerals. Beyond its ceremonial meaning, this discovery also shows that Georgia is one of the oldest cradles of grape cultivation and wine culture in the world. Over thousands of years, this tradition has continued to be preserved and developed, contributing to the unique cultural identity of the Caucasus. Even today, the people of Georgia still maintain the custom of drinking wine from vessels made of horn or shaped like animals, just as their distant ancestors once did. These archaeological pieces help reconstruct the picture of a prehistoric society where wine was not only a beverage, but was closely tied to spiritual life, beliefs, and community rituals. Each ancient wine vessel that remains is a living testament to the enduring connection between people, nature, and tradition, while affirming Georgia's place as one of the very first cradles of humanity's wine civilization. The Tasmanian Tiger. On the distant island of Tasmania in Australia, a legendary tale continues to be passed from person to person amid the deep, ancient forests. Many claim to have seen a creature believed to exist only in books, the Tasmanian Tiger. For decades, thousands of reports have poured in from local residents as well as curious travelers. Even just this past summer, there were yet more blurry sightings of a strange figure slipping through the dense woods, prompting the question, could the Tasmanian tiger still be living somewhere out there? This animal, also known as the thylacine, was once the apex predator of Tasmania, bearing its distinctive striped coat, long tail, and a face that seemed a blend between a wolf and a large cat. The thylacine resembles no living species today, although, in distant kinship, it is related to marsupials such as kangaroos and koalas. This is part of what makes the presence of the Tasmanian tiger feel so mysterious and fascinating to anyone who's ever heard its story. Yet, the fate of this unique animal is marked by tragedy. At the beginning of the 20th century, as livestock and sheep became the main livelihood for the island's people, the Tasmanian tiger was relentlessly hunted, accused of being a threat. Bounties were offered by authorities for every animal killed, much like the American practice with grey wolves in the West. By 1936, the last known Tasmanian tiger died alone in a cold cage at the Hobart Zoo. That event marked the official extinction of a wild icon, leaving a profound emptiness in the memory of the Tasmanian people. One might think the story of the Tasmanian tiger would end there, but surprisingly, it continues to live on in the minds of the community and remains a frequent topic of conversation. Over the years, many have insisted they have seen the creature with their own eyes and even heard its strange calls echoing through the forest at night. One notable case is that of Adrian Richardson, a former soldier who spent more than 30 years roaming the Tasmanian wilderness, driven by a single belief that the Tasmanian tiger has not truly disappeared. In 2017, he recounted a chilling moment when he suddenly heard a howl resounding through the ancient woods, a sound he could never forget, only deepening his conviction in the existence of this mysterious animal. Such stories are far from rare. Every year, new reports about the Tasmanian tiger continue to emerge, from locals, explorers, and even amateur photographers snapping hurried pictures in the dim twilight. Though no scientific evidence has definitively confirmed the thylacine survival, the enduring power of these stories has compelled the world to ask, could there still be mysteries waiting to be uncovered in Tasmania's pristine forests? And if one day the Tasmanian tiger does truly reappear, it will stand as a testament to the power of hope and the wondrous capabilities of nature that humanity has always longed to touch. The Jade armor of the Han Dynasty. On the journey to unravel the mysteries of the Han Dynasty, Chinese archaeologists have had the chance to witness firsthand the sheer opulence of the ancient ruling class through suits of armor assembled from thousands of tiny pieces of jade. Each suit is not only a masterpiece of art, but also a symbol of the power and status of the person laid to rest, for only emperors, royal family members, or wealthy aristocrats were granted the privilege of being buried in such magnificent jade armor. Legends about this special kind of armor have been passed down for centuries in ancient texts. However, it was not until 1968, when researchers uncovered a perfectly preserved ancient tomb, that the true existence of these extraordinary suits was confirmed. Each piece of jade, whether square, rectangular, rhomboid, or trapezoidal in shape, was meticulously cut and joined together with threads of gold, silver, copper, or silk, creating a layer of armor that was both durable and resplendent. Even the connecting threads marked one's social rank. The emperor's armor was always sewn with precious gold thread, while princes, princesses, and nobles used silver or copper, and lower-ranking aristocrats had to make do with silk. Those outside the upper echelons were strictly forbidden from wearing such garments. Crafting a jade suit of armor was by no means simple. The ancients had to spend many years perfecting each detail, requiring remarkable skill and an abundant supply of materials. A single complete suit could contain thousands of jade pieces, not to mention kilograms of gold or silver used for joining them together. For this reason, most jade suits have been lost over time, destroyed by grave robbers or decayed beyond recognition. The few that survive today have become national treasures, standing as proof of the masterful craftsmanship and boundless creativity of Han Dynasty artisans. Possessing not only immense material value, jade armor was also the ultimate symbol of power, wealth, and reverence for the departed. Every intricate line carved into each jade piece, every shimmering golden thread, holds within it an entire culture and the heartfelt devotion people showed to the past. Looking at these suits of armor, later generations see not only the extravagance of the nobility, but also deeply feel the longing for immortality and the aspiration for eternity that the ancients placed into every layer of green jade. The strange ancient tomb in Europe. In a peaceful countryside of Germany, archaeologists made a discovery that changed the world's understanding of prehistoric Europe. In 2016, during an excavation near the village of Großfredenwalde, they unexpectedly found an ancient cemetery dating back more than 8,500 years. This is one of the oldest Middle Stone Age burial sites in Europe, containing 9 sets of remains, 5 of which belonged to children, including a newborn only 6 months old. The image of children buried together with adults in the same cemetery suggests a community once existed here, where life and death were interwoven on this land across many generations. This cemetery is unlike any other burial ground of its time. It lies on a hard, rocky terrain, far from any water source and not convenient for living or burying the dead. This indicates that the burial rituals performed here were carried out with careful preparation and took place over more than a millennium. It is no coincidence that these graves were chosen to be constructed in such a location. Scientists believe this was a special site with deep spiritual significance for the hunter-gatherer community that once lived in the area. Among the graves discovered, there is one that has attracted special attention from archaeologists because of its strange and mysterious nature. It is the remains of a man buried standing upright, with his whole body placed vertically, buried only up to the knees, while the upper half was left exposed to the elements for nature to do its work before the grave was finally filled in. This is a ritual never seen before in Mesolithic cemeteries in Europe, raising many questions among scientists about the true meaning of this burial practice. Analysis of the skeleton showed that the man was not engaged in hard physical labor and might have been a skilled craftsman or a special figure in that ancient community. Alongside bone and stone tools buried with him, his remains have become an important clue in decoding the transition period between hunter-gatherer tribes and the first agricultural communities in Europe. However, the biggest question remains unanswered. Why was this man buried in such an unusual way? Was he from a distant land, or did the burial ritual carry a special meaning that the modern world has never known? Researchers are conducting DNA analysis to look for links to ancient communities in Russia, where similar graves have been found in the past. With every layer of earth uncovered, a new layer of mystery is revealed, showing that the life and death of prehistoric people always contain things that, even now, we still cannot fully explain. The ancient city of Nineveh. Since the dawn of human civilization, the land of Nineveh has long stood as a gathering place for some of the greatest achievements in the history of the ancient East. Founded around 6000 BC along the banks of the Tigris River, Nineveh was not merely a quiet little town. It gradually developed into a major religious center, closely associated with the powerful goddess Ishtar. Over time, the city flourished, expanding in scale with magnificent architectural works and remarkable innovations. Massive defensive walls surrounded the city, protecting its inhabitants from danger, while lush parks, complex canals, and advanced irrigation systems brought prosperity to the entire region. Especially notable was Nineveh's colossal palace, with 80 rooms and a library that housed more than 30,000 clay tablets, a vast treasure trove of knowledge for an entire culture. This place was once a brilliant capital and a symbol of the supreme power of the mighty Assyrian Empire. Its people lived there for generations, witnessing times of both prosperity and turmoil, as well as natural disasters like earthquakes, including one that destroyed the great temple dedicated to Ishtar. Yet even such hardships could not dim Nineveh's glory. The city continued to rise and became a center for learning, power, and religion. For nearly 50 years before its fall to invasion, Nineveh had risen to become the most populous and bustling city of the ancient world, drawing merchants, scholars, and gifted artisans from every direction. However, in 612 BC, a coalition of opposing forces joined together to attack Nineveh, bringing about devastation on a scale never seen before. The city was razed, countless inhabitants were killed or taken away, leaving behind only ruined stone walls and painful memories that could never be erased. After that terrible catastrophe, Nineveh never regained its former splendor. The city changed hands many times, coming under the control of great empires such as the Persians, Greeks, and Arabs. Through the upheavals of history, by the 13th century, Nineveh was reduced to a silent ruin on what is now Iraqi soil. What remains today are two large mounds, segments of stone walls, and towering mud brick structures, silently witnessing the passage of time. Unfortunately, these remnants now face the threat of total disappearance due to harsh natural conditions, rampant looting, and the destruction brought by modern warfare. Nineveh, once the beating heart of the ancient world, now stands only as a reminder of the fragility of human power and glory. Egypt's lost city of gold. At the beginning of 2021, the world of archaeology was shaken when a lost city of gold, hidden for 3 millennia, suddenly revealed itself in the heart of the Luxor Desert. This discovery was quickly hailed as the greatest find since the opening of Tutankhamun's tomb, and it reignited hope for uncovering more secrets about the dazzling heights of ancient Nile civilization. This golden city was once the thriving center of Egypt during the reign of Pharaoh Amenhotep III, a place where power and wealth reached their absolute peak. Beneath the endless sands, archaeologists uncovered not only ancient residential areas, but also fortresses, workshops, and countless precious artifacts that reflected the opulent lifestyle of that era. Exquisite jewelry, scarab-shaped amulets, fragments of pottery, daily tools, and objects crafted from gold and ivory, all of them tell the story of a bustling, crowded city shimmering with golden light. The existence of the lost city of gold astonished many scholars, as for hundreds of years, generations had searched in vain for any trace of it. Only now has the city slowly emerged, opening a magical door that allows researchers direct access to the daily lives of ancient Egyptians, especially during the reign of the legendary pharaoh Amenhotep III, the ruler who left one of the brightest golden marks on the long-standing civilization of humanity. From mud brick walls that remain intact to every alley, square, and even the smallest objects left forgotten beneath the sand, all of these together help to recreate a city that was once a symbol of prosperity and power. This discovery not only sheds light on the past, but also inspires today's generation to continue the journey of uncovering the untold secrets of ancient Egypt. Famous disappearances and mysterious bodies in America. In 2021, the case of Gabby Petito shocked the entire United States, not only because of the mysterious disappearance of a young blogger, but also because of the horrifying discoveries made during the investigation. As authorities urgently searched for the main suspect, who was Petito's boyfriend, the massive manhunt unexpectedly brought to light at least 5 other bodies belonging to people who had previously been reported missing. This left the public stunned by the reality that, across America, there are still countless missing persons who have yet to be found or identified. The series of bodies discovered during the search for Gabby Petito sounded an alarm about the mysterious fate of thousands of missing persons each year in the United States. People whose stories may forever fade into obscurity if not for some extraordinary event that brings them back into public attention. Beneath the dust of unresolved investigations, numerous disappearances stretching on for years, even decades, remain without answers or any identification of the victims. The Gabby Petito case not only exposed the dark corners of modern social life, but also forced the entire country to reconsider the gaps in protecting, supporting, and searching for missing people. Each body found, each name confirmed, represents an opportunity for the victims' families to find the truth and finally bring closure to years of pain. At the same time, this story serves as a reminder to all of us that there are still many mysteries yet to be solved, hidden behind disappearances that might otherwise have been forgotten across the vast expanse of America. The mysterious Karus Caves. Hidden among the towering mountains of Kashmir, the Karus Caves are always shrouded in mist and surrounded by endless tales passed down through generations. At first sight, anyone who sets foot here is struck by the grandeur and mystery of the 7 massive stone doors known as Sat Baron. Carved into the hillside, these 7 doors stand tall like gateways to another world, where the boundary between reality and legend becomes blurred and uncertain. Local people often say that these stone doors are just the visible part of a gigantic network of caves, stretching for hundreds of kilometers beneath the ground, and even said to connect all the way to distant Russia. In the imagination of many generations, Karus is not just a simple cave system, but a gateway leading to legendary lands, places where folk heroes once adventured and historical secrets still await discovery. In recent decades, explorers from America have decided to follow these mysterious traces, risking their safety to delve deep underground in hopes of uncovering the truth. They have explored 3 of the largest caves, each one opening up to its own story, with winding passageways and vast stone chambers containing strange relics. However, their journey was far from easy. Some of the caves have been strictly sealed off by the Indian military, for reasons that only the authorities can explain. What makes Karus one of the greatest mysteries of Kashmir is that the origins and true purpose of the 7 stone doors remain unsolved. No one knows for sure who built these gates, why they were created, or why they exist in the middle of such wild and treacherous mountains. Some theories suggest the doors once served as ceremonial pathways or the starting point for spiritual journeys. Others believe this place was once a secret base for great migrations, or perhaps even the hiding spot for long-lost treasures from ancient times. Today, when people speak of the Karus Caves and their 7 stone doors, curiosity still lingers about what lies deep beneath the cold rocks. Could it be that within the earth of Kashmir, secrets remain hidden, waiting for the day humanity uncovers them and continues the extraordinary story of the gateways leading between the worlds of reality and legend? The Soviet-era shelter. In the vast heart of Russia, where old factories have stood silent for decades, an unexpected adventure has opened a doorway through time. A YouTuber, well known for his urban exploration journeys, accidentally discovered an intact shelter lying deep beneath an abandoned factory complex. As he pushed open the heavy iron door, he stepped into a space seemingly frozen in time, where everything remained just as if the last person had only recently left. Inside the shelter, the faint beam of his flashlight revealed row upon row of shelves lined with objects steeped in history. There were gas masks neatly arranged, newspapers yellowed by time, old uniforms, heavy boots, and an array of medical equipment and first aid kits, all prepared for a day that everyone hoped would never come. In one corner hung thick overcoats, the walls were plastered with notes and maps, while a small iron bed was still covered with blankets and clothing that seemed to retain the last trace of human presence. The atmosphere inside the shelter felt suspended in a single historical moment, capturing the tension of the Cold War era. Every item told a story of fear in the face of nuclear threat, of days when the entire world lived in uncertainty, awaiting the signals of their age. What made this shelter especially remarkable was that it contained not only Soviet-era supplies, but also relics, documents, and old photographs dating back to World War II, everything forming a living museum that recorded the upheavals experienced by previous generations. What added to the mystery of this discovery was the sense that the shelter had been abandoned in great haste. There were no signs of cleaning or dismantling. Everything had been left in perfect order, as if the occupants believed they would soon return, only never to come back again. The YouTuber did not reveal the shelter's exact location, keeping the secret for himself and fellow explorers, leaving behind a wealth of reflections about the fate of those who once took refuge there and the unfinished story of a tumultuous era. Today, such shelters still exist quietly beneath Russian soil, standing as silent witnesses to a chapter of history that many know only from books. With each new exploration, forgotten stories are revived once more, reminding us of a time when the world trembled at the thought that a single signal could alter the destiny of millions. The medieval criminal woman in Bulgaria. Beneath the layers of earth and stone on Acropolis Hill in the city of Plovdiv, one of the oldest urban centers in Europe, Bulgarian archaeologists uncovered a truly unique grave, telling a story steeped in tragedy and haunted by the fate of humanity in the Middle Ages. Inside the grave were the remains of a woman, buried face down, with her hands tightly bound behind her back. The unusual burial position, along with markings found on the bones, led experts to propose numerous theories about the reasons for this extraordinary manner of interment. According to historical records and the assessments of specialists, in the 13th and 14th centuries, Bulgarian society was still heavily influenced by superstition, harsh laws, and a fervent belief in the supernatural. If a person was believed to have committed a grave crime or to carry a curse, or even if they were merely suspected by the community of having ties to witchcraft, sorcery, or dark forces, they could be punished by this special form of burial, face down and with hands bound behind the back. Many researchers believe this was a way for the community to enact absolute rejection, inflicting both physical and spiritual punishment, while also preventing the possibility of the dead returning to bring disaster upon the village. Being buried face down and with hands tied was not simply a punishment for those deemed criminals, but also carried deep spiritual meaning. In ancient belief, those who were cursed or bore heavy sins, if not restrained in this way, could become ghosts who harassed the living or caused plagues and catastrophe for the entire community. This explains why, alongside this woman's grave, archaeologists found evidence of mass graves, other face-down burials, and even skeletons pinned down with stakes or weighed with stones, all intended to prevent the return of the restless dead. The discovery of this face-down grave in the heart of Plovdiv not only sparked debate about burial customs, but also reflected the dark underbelly of ancient society, where fear, prejudice, and superstition could overshadow humanity and compassion. It was an era when the boundary between justice and blind belief was perilously thin. Those who were suspected or condemned faced harsh isolation and punishment, not only in life, but even after death. Today, as we look upon those remains, we cannot help but feel haunted by the tragic fate of a woman cast out by her society, and wonder what really happened, and why did she have to suffer such a painful end? Was it simply because of an invisible belief, an unfounded rumor, or the heavy shadow of ancient customs? The face-down grave in Plovdiv has become a vivid testament to the past. Even after many centuries, the mysteries of the reasons, the identity, and the true circumstances leading to this woman's death remain unresolved. Yet clearly, this discovery has opened a window onto the spiritual life, laws, and darker aspects of human history, prompting us all to reflect on the value of compassion and understanding in the modern world. Aboriginal artifacts beneath the sea. In the northwestern waters of Australia, archaeologists have discovered a prehistoric treasure of immense value: 270 stone tools crafted by ancient Aboriginal people. These artifacts were found at two sites now submerged beneath the water, and scientific analysis has shown that they are more than 7,000 years old, dating back to a time when the landmass of Australia extended much farther than it does today. The discovery of tools such as stone axes, blades, hunting points, and sharpened stone fragments not only confirms that the ancestors of Indigenous Australians once lived, worked, and built communities along the coast, but also provides an entirely new perspective on their adaptability and creativity in the face of natural climate change. Around 12,000 years ago, at the end of the Ice Age, melting glaciers caused global sea levels to rise, submerging millions of hectares of inhabited land that had been home to countless generations. These tools are the last traces of those communities, people who were forced to adapt or abandon their homeland as the advancing sea gradually erased the familiar shores. This discovery has opened a new horizon for archaeology in Australia, for until now, researchers had focused primarily on sites on land or in shallow coastal waters. Now, with the help of modern technology, heritage lying beneath the deeper sea is starting to come to light, helping to complete the picture of human settlement, survival, and development on this ancient continent. These millennia-old stone tools beneath the sea are not merely fragments of the past, they are vivid evidence that humanity has always found ways to innovate and overcome the challenges of nature. The story of those ancient coastal Aboriginal people, together with the mysteries still kept by the ocean, promises to continue inspiring generations of scientists and explorers on the journey to uncover the earliest traces of civilization in the land known as the Country of the Kangaroo. Oh, the mysterious Cucuteni Tripoli civilization. The Cucuteni Tripoli civilization once stretched across a vast region of Eastern Europe and left a profound mark during the Neolithic era. Archaeologists are still astonished to discover that, thousands of years ago, the inhabitants here built settlements on a scale far surpassing the rest of Europe at the time. Some communities reached populations as high as 36,000, a nearly unimaginable number for the ancient world. These communities were not only densely populated, but also formed complex social centers, with houses, public structures, and multiple layers of social organization. However, what intrigues researchers most is the peculiar custom of the Cucuteni Tripoli people. Every 60 or 80 years, they would burn down their entire settlements to erase all traces of the old way of life. Then, upon the ashes, they would build new houses and structures. In this way, over many generations, layer upon layer of ruins accumulated, creating unique archaeological sites with dozens of historical strata buried deep beneath the earth. The true motivation behind this cycle of burning and rebuilding remains a great mystery. Was it a ritual of spiritual significance, or simply a way to renew their lives or prevent disease? To this day, scientists have yet to find a definitive answer. The mystery of the Cucuteni Tripoli culture is further deepened by the almost total absence of written language. They left behind very few symbols, and no writing system endured, making it nearly impossible for later generations to fully understand their language, customs, and knowledge. Moreover, the continual practice of burning their settlements resulted in the destruction of most artifacts and ancient objects. Only a small number of ceramic items, bronze tools, figurines, or fragments of implements have been found relatively intact. All that remains are layers of ruins and faint traces of a civilization that once flourished but has now been nearly erased by time. Today, with each excavation, archaeologists continue to search for the final pieces of this mysterious culture. They strive to decode the meaning of clay figurines, decorative objects, and remnants of dwellings in order to better understand the spiritual life, beliefs, and creative capabilities of the Cucuteni Tripoli people. Yet, the more they uncover, the more unanswered questions seem to arise. Perhaps it is precisely this mystery that has made the Cucuteni Tripoli civilization one of the greatest enigmas of prehistoric European history, capturing the curiosity of generations of researchers and history enthusiasts around the world. Dumar Beach. Stretching along the shores of Gujarat, Dumar Beach stands out not only for its unusual black sand, but also for the mysterious atmosphere that seems to envelop the place in ways words can scarcely describe. Locals say that the black sand is the result of centuries of burials and cremations, with ashes and remains seeping deep into every grain, making this a sacred land where past and present blend with every crashing wave. From early morning, Dumar is lively with crowds of people, children playing, tourists eagerly taking photos by the sea, and everyone enjoying the salty breeze that is unique to India's coastal regions. Yet, as soon as the sun disappears, the entire scene changes, giving way to an eerie and strange air that spreads through every corner of the beach. When night falls, Dumar seems to transform into another world. Many recount hearing laughter echoing through the empty air, sounds whose origins remain unclear, rising and vanishing on the sea breeze. At times, ghostly white figures are seen gliding over the sand, or mysterious lights flicker in the darkness, with no one able to explain their source. Even the dogs living near the area behave strangely after sunset, all barking in unison toward the sea, as if seeing something beyond human perception. The curious who venture onto the beach at night are often overcome by unease, with many turning back before they have finished exploring, later describing a chill that runs down their spine. Dumar Beach is more than just a collection of legends passed down through generations. Some visitors have accidentally captured spirit orbs in nighttime photographs. Faint, round glows seemingly suspended in mid-air, sending shivers down the viewer's spines. Some believe these are the souls of the departed still wandering the beach, while others think such phenomena are mere coincidences or tricks of natural light. Though scientists have yet to reach any definitive conclusion, the majority of visitors continue to believe that Dumar is truly a haunted place, where the line between reality and illusion is thinner than anywhere else. Today, despite its reputation for wild beauty and strong winds, Dumar Beach remains a destination that tests the courage of many. Perhaps it is the very mysteries that linger unanswered that draw in adventurous souls, those who believe in the world beyond, as well as visitors simply seeking the thrill of standing at the fragile border between darkness and legend. The Ohio Grassman. Across the vast fields and dense forests of Ohio, a strange story has persisted for generations, sparking both curiosity and chills whenever it is mentioned. The Ohio Grassman is a mysterious creature that many believe to be the closest relative of Bigfoot, the legendary ape-man of North America. But unlike the vague, shadowy image usually associated with Bigfoot, the Grassman has its own distinctive traits, and the stories surrounding it never fail to captivate anyone who hears them. According to reports dating back to the late 1970s, the Grassman stands out not only for its massive size and shaggy hair, but also for a very special ability: building nests from grass and natural materials found around its habitat. Many eyewitnesses have claimed to discover nests made of dried grass, woven tightly and hidden deep within the forest, something that no other animal in Ohio is known to do. This is precisely what sets the Grassman apart and makes it a focal point of curiosity. It is not merely a reclusive creature, but displays signs of intelligence and the ability to use its environment to construct its own shelter. The legend of the Grassman exploded into public awareness in the summer of 1978 when the Clayton family in the village of Minerva witnessed a gigantic, shaggy creature appearing at a gravel pit near their home. The children screamed and ran away, while the adults who came to investigate found themselves face to face with a being that seemed to have stepped straight out of legend. But that was not the end. The Clayton family later reported multiple encounters with the Grassman near their home, including times when it was seen quietly watching through the window at night. Strange footprints left in the mud and a distinctive foul odor lingering in the air only deepened the mystery surrounding the Grassman. Interestingly, stories about this creature are not limited to modern times, but are also found in the legends of Ohio's Native American tribes. The indigenous people referred to the Grassman as the wild people of the deep woods and believed these half-human, half-beast beings once lived alongside humans long before Europeans set foot in North America. To avoid being troubled by the Grassman, the locals would even leave food at the edge of the forest, hoping that these small gifts would keep their villages safe. From the evidence of grass nests to chilling close encounters, the Grassman has become a major question regarding the existence of mysterious primates in the Americas. Modern researchers have yet to find definitive proof, but the growing number of reports, traces, and indigenous legends has only increased the fascination with the Grassman. The mysterious islands of Hawaii. In the heart of the vast Pacific Ocean, the Hawaiian archipelago is renowned not only for its stunning natural beauty, but also for ancient secrets that have yet to be fully unraveled. Standing out among these mysteries are two remote islands, Nihoa and Mokumanamana, where archaeologists have discovered a series of unique relics, reminders of a once flourishing civilization that has since faded into obscurity. Across the surfaces of these islands, square stone platforms are scattered amidst green moss, interspersed with neatly aligned stone constructions, and especially enigmatic stone statues with faces no one can quite identify. Some of the statues are roughly hewn, yet still exude an imposing presence, their gaze seeming to pierce the centuries and confront anyone who stands before them. This scene compels all who set foot here to quietly reflect on the hands and minds that built such monuments hundreds of years ago. What is even more mysterious is that, to this day, no records or evidence have definitively revealed who the true creators of these stone platforms, human figures, and ceremonial structures were. Surveys conducted from the early 20th century up to the present have only added to the treasure trove of questions. Was this once the site of mana rituals, the spiritual power revered by ancient Hawaiians as the soul of their ancestral line? Many researchers believe that, during seasonal transitions or significant moments, the community's leaders and priests would cross the sea to these islands to perform rituals, hoping to absorb and inherit mana from previous generations in the quest for wisdom and prosperity. The remnants found on these islands are not just stones, but reminders of a rich spiritual world, of a profound belief in the connection between humans and the divine, between past and present. Although archaeologists have uncovered many artifacts, the full meaning of each structure and statue on these two islands remains beyond the reach of modern science. Nihoa and Mokumanamana thus continue to stand as lands of legend, awaiting future generations to unlock the ancient mysteries that still slumber beneath the skies and seas of Hawaii. Paatihe Beneda Mountain. Lying just outside the city of Bogota, the mountain of Paadaha Benedea has long been known as one of the most mysterious and haunting landmarks in the Americas. It is not just a towering mountain in the middle of the wilderness. This place is connected to strange legends and a series of unexplained phenomena that never fail to spark curiosity. Every week, streams of people from all over make their way to the slopes of this mountain, hoping to witness firsthand the strange lights in the sky and the unidentified flying objects that appear and then vanish in the blink of an eye. They believe that Paadaha Benedea is a secret meeting point for UFOs, a place where the boundary between the world of humans and the supernatural is thinner than anywhere else in the world. Looking back at the past, this mountain was once a sacred place for the MUA people, an indigenous tribe that lived in this land for hundreds of years. For them, Paadaha Benedea was not simply a mountain range, it was the embodiment of the supreme deity, worshipped and ready to receive the most sacred offerings. Legend has it that sacrificial rituals were once held here to pray for favorable weather, abundant harvests, and also to calm the wrath of supernatural forces. The tragedy reached its peak when the Spanish arrived to invade. To preserve their honor and national identity, many MUA warriors chose to end their lives on these sacred slopes so that their souls could merge with Mother Earth and protect the mountain from the footsteps of foreign invaders. It is believed that these pains and sacrifices have left an indelible mark on this land, creating a special energy that modern science still cannot explain. Perhaps it is because of this that Paadaha Benedea has become an unmissable destination for those who are passionate about exploring the mysteries of the universe. Among them is engineer William Chavez Arisa, who spent more than 30 years of his life observing, recording, and analyzing the strange phenomena that appear around this mountain. William has repeatedly stated that he has seen strange lights with his own eyes, disc-shaped flying objects moving around the mountaintop on clear nights. He believes there is an invisible force attracting extraterrestrial beings to this place, and that Paadaha Benedea hides many things far beyond the understanding of modern humans. Even though scientists still cannot give a final explanation, the strange allure of Paadaha Benedea continues to spread. Every time night falls, thousands of eyes turn toward the peak, waiting for a new miracle, hoping to become witnesses to the most mysterious phenomena of humanity. On this land, the line between legend and reality is always blurred, and the question about the existence of supernatural forces remains, with no one able to give an answer. The secret room behind the kitchen cabinet. In the rhythm of modern life, when many people assume that every corner of their home has already been thoroughly explored, sometimes a single moment of sudden curiosity is all it takes to open up a whole world of mystery right inside their own house. That was exactly the case for a couple who, after moving into their new home, discovered that behind an old kitchen cabinet was an entirely different space, a secret room that seemed never to have appeared on any blueprint. When they carefully removed each wooden panel, dim light from a small window cast shadows on the bare earth floor, revealing scattered piles of unfinished building materials, layered thick with the dust of time. What surprised the couple most was the presence of old wine bottles, each one more than half a century old. In the silent space, sounds echoed off the grey walls, and the room evoked a feeling that was both strange and irresistible to the imagination. Why did a room exist with no door, no official entryway, and why had it been hidden so carefully for all these years? Many theories surfaced on social media as the story spread. Some jokingly suggested it was the perfect place to hide surprise gifts, Others believed it was once used as a storage room for construction materials, or perhaps even a secret wine cellar reserved for the previous owner. Although no one has yet uncovered the room's original purpose, it still stirs up a sense of mystery, as if every house, no matter how familiar, always conceals its own stories, waiting for either time or human curiosity to uncover them all. And so, behind that simple kitchen cabinet door, a corner of the home's past continues to silently tell its story, waiting for the day it will be fully revealed to those who truly want to listen to the call of the mysteries hidden within everyday life. The Six-Headed Chieftain in Scotland. On the misty land of Scotland, archaeologists discovered a tomb that was both astonishing and left many unanswered questions for the history of this region. At the end of the 20th century, when a research team carried out excavations near the village of Portmahomac in Easter Ross, they accidentally found a strange grave belonging to a warrior who lived in the 14th century. What made this grave especially remarkable was that at first it was believed to contain the remains of a person with up to 6 heads, an eerie image that could send chills down the spine of anyone who heard the story. In fact, when the researchers conducted a more thorough analysis, they realized that the grave was not the resting place of a bizarre creature, but rather the final resting place of 2 men, with 4 skulls carefully placed around them. These skulls were not there by coincidence. Each one had its own special meaning. 3 of them belonged to relatives of one of the 2 men in the grave, while the last one dated from the 8th to the 10th century, and according to experts, was most likely that of an ancient Pictish monk. The act of taking a skull from another tomb to place it in a new grave was extremely rare in medieval Scotland, which made this discovery even more mysterious. The presence of these skulls in the tomb is considered to be an ancestral relic, a way for the living to assert their origins and family connections, especially in the context of a society full of turmoil and power struggles. Placing a grave at the center of the parish was not only a symbol of the status of the deceased, but also a message to the community that this family had deep roots and an irreplaceable position. In fact, archaeologists believe that placing ancestral relics in the grave was meant to strengthen the legitimacy and elevate the prestige of the person being buried, particularly during such unstable times. The cause of death of this chieftain was determined to be violent, possibly from a fierce struggle for power or a calamity during that chaotic era. The skull showed signs of severe facial injury, evidence of a violent death, and this only further highlighted the status of the person beneath the cold earth as both a warrior and a leader. Today, looking back, this 6-headed grave is not only the trace of a mysterious historical story, but also opens up insights into the customs and sacred beliefs of ancient Scots regarding lineage, power, and the meaning of death. The Grunch Monster in New Orleans. When it comes to the chilling mysteries of the American South, it is impossible not to mention the legend of the Grunch, a bizarre creature that has inspired both fear and curiosity in generations of New Orleans residents. Hiding in the dense swamps where winding trails disappear beneath thick canopies of trees, the Grunch appears like a nameless specter, always ready to instill terror in anyone who accidentally wanders into its territory. According to stories passed down through many generations, the Grunch resembles no other animal in the world. Its appearance is a strange mix of various creatures. A small body, skin as rough as a snake, the glowing eyes of a mole, agile legs like a monkey, and a face that bears a resemblance to a wild boar. This combination gives it such a bizarre appearance that anyone who has seen it cannot help but be haunted by the image. But what truly makes the Grunch a source of horror is its ability to drain the blood of its victims with a single bite. Many people have recounted that their pets or even livestock disappeared mysteriously, only to be found later with not a drop of blood left in their bodies, as if this creature had instantly drained away all life. The origins of the Grunch add even more to its mystique. Some believe that this creature is the result of a powerful voodoo ritual performed in this land during the French and Spanish colonial eras. The story goes that a mighty sorcerer used magic to create the Grunch, endowing it with strength and intelligence far beyond that of ordinary animals. Since then, the Grunch has become the gatekeeper of the swamps, a symbol of supernatural power tied to the dark and tumultuous history of New Orleans. Stories like these have been passed down from generation to generation, becoming a unique part of local culture found nowhere else. The Grunch is frightening not only because of its appearance or predatory habits, but also because of its uncanny intelligence. Locals whisper that it can mimic human voices to lure its victims, open doors, or use simple tools like a highly intelligent being. Some even claim to have heard the Grunch cackling or making eerie sounds that echo through the night. There are accounts of the Grunch using branches as tools to open livestock pens, reinforcing the belief that this is no ordinary animal, but rather a product of supernatural forces. To this day, modern science has yet to confirm the existence of the Grunch, but the legend remains deeply rooted in the consciousness of the people of New Orleans. Whenever night falls on the deserted streets, everyone silently reminds themselves to stay away from places once known as the Grunch's domain. For many, the Grunch is not just a creature of the shadows, but the embodiment of unsolved mysteries, an inseparable part of the memory and identity of New Orleans, a place where the boundary between reality and illusion is thinner than anywhere else in America. The Couch No Stone. Hidden beneath the thick grass of West Dunbartonshire, the Couch No Stone is one of the oldest and most captivating mysteries in Europe. In 1885, when Reverend James Harvey happened to take a stroll on a hill, he discovered this massive stone lying buried beneath the earth and turf. After carefully clearing away the layer of mud and soil that covered it, an entire treasure trove of prehistoric art gradually appeared before his eyes. Spread across the stone surface, measuring up to 42 feet in length and 26 feet in width, are intricate carvings that compel anyone to stop and admire. The people of ancient times left behind more than 90 mysterious motifs, ranging from spiraling patterns linked together to complete circles and geometric designs that defy explanation. No one knows exactly why. 5,000 years ago, a group of ancient people went out of their way to climb this hill, selected a huge stone, and painstakingly carved into it symbols that, to this day, humanity has yet to decode. Some believe they are maps of the stars in the sky, while others speculate that these are markings for sacred sites or places where ancient rituals took place. But all of these remain mere conjectures. Decades passed, and once again, grass covered the stone, hiding its secrets beneath the earth. To protect the monument from the ravages of time and human interference, in 1965, experts decided to rebury the stone, allowing it to be uncovered only for research on special occasions. It was not until 2015 that the Couch No Stone was temporarily excavated, giving archaeologists from the University of Glasgow the opportunity to document and recreate all of these ancient carvings. Despite many generations having passed, the mysteries of the stone still have no final answer. Its strange patterns continue to challenge anyone passionate about exploring the ancient history of Scotland. The Couch No Stone lies quietly on the high hill, serving as a reminder that countless questions about the past still await discovery, and that ancient mysteries will always be an endless source of inspiration for humanity's journey to find its origins. The Ghost Lights of the Marshes. Across the foggy, mist-laden marshlands of West Bengal and Gujarat, local people have long passed down tales of mysterious balls of light that appear, floating in the darkness of night. Whenever night falls, the marshes become gloomier than ever, and from time to time, flickering lights flash, sometimes far away, sometimes close by, leaving anyone who loses their way in this land both astonished and fearful. For many generations, these ghost orbs have been seen as more than just ordinary lights. They are omens, signs of the other world, or the presence of souls of those who have passed away. In fishing villages, legend has it that on nights when the moon is faint, even seasoned fishermen can fall under the spell of these ghostly lights, being lured farther and farther from shore until they become lost in the endless marshes. Some chilling stories even connect these lights with the spirits of ill-fated fishermen, those who perished in great storms or while struggling to make a living on the treacherous rivers. In many other regions, people believe that the glowing orbs are the incarnations of wandering souls who have not yet found peace, always seeking to lead strangers into danger. Particularly in Bengal, the famous legend of the mother tiger and her cub, who died unjustly in the marsh, makes the image of these ghost lights even more mysterious. Locals say that the spirit of the mother tiger appears as glowing streaks of light, guiding, warning, or avenging anyone who has harmed her bloodline. These tales are not confined to folklore alone. the phenomenon has also puzzled scientists and naturalists. Some theories suggest that methane gas, produced by the decomposition of plant and animal remains in the swamp, can spontaneously ignite upon contact with oxygen, creating the flickering lights. Other scientists propose that this may be the result of natural chemical reactions in the damp environment, or the effect of special electromagnetic activity taking place in unique geological areas. However, all these explanations remain only partial, because the phenomenon does not occur regularly, cannot be predicted, and there are still many unanswered questions. In fact, many who have witnessed the lights firsthand insist that sometimes the ghost orbs move as if they have a will of their own, at other times suddenly vanishing without a trace, defying all boundaries of modern theories. Today, the ghost lights of the marshes are no longer just a lingering fear among fishermen or villagers living on the edge of the wetlands, but have become a captivating topic for anyone fascinated by mysterious phenomena. Whether rooted in legend or science, each time they appear, these eerie streaks of light ignite the imagination and endless curiosity about what lies hidden between reality and the supernatural world. Perhaps that is why the Indian marshes still retain their mystical, unpredictable, and chilling beauty in the minds of so many people. If you found these mysterious stories fascinating, please leave your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out on our next discoveries. See you in the next video.